Welcome to Live from the space at 100th Taylor. We're filming in beautiful Germantown neighborhood in Nashville. And we are so excited because we've had a lot of talent in this show, but today we have a special one. B. Taylor, welcome to the show. Hi, B.
Hey man, what's going on?
How are you today?
Oh my gosh, this is a beautiful day. I mean, it's raining, but I like that.
So B, I have to tell you, like, I'm always surrounded by talent in Nashville and in my career, but just everything about you, we're so excited to have you. What a soul, not only your talent, but like just your soul, your colors, and like we felt it, people tell us about it, and like we're so thrilled that you're here.
Oh man, thank you. I just, I try to live in a way that, like we talked about earlier, is just expression.
Yeah.
So thank you for noticing that. That's really cool.
Absolutely. So B, let me start with this. This year, seen a bunch of music. It's been actually quite bananas how much. But one of the shows, when I look back and I'm like, what's the best thing that I saw this year? Was this show in Somerset, Kentucky, Master Musicians Festival. And there was this great veil. I mean, some friends of our show were there, Morgan Wade, a bunch of people. But when you stepped on that stage, B, at Master Musicians Festival, I kid you not, it was one of the most impactful shows I've seen in many years. It was absolutely riveting, captivating. The weather was perfect. Your band was amazing. Your voice was on point. Your fashion was excellent. The fans were loving. The fans were swooning. It was like time stopped during that show. So let me ask you about like shows like that, B, that you've performed. When everything is clicking, when do you realize that this is happening? Do you realize when it's happening during, or is it like after?
I definitely think I realize it during the performance, and shows like that are so special because that was also a really special night for us. We had just a lot of buzz going around in Somerset, and there's a lot of people there that we just love and have created beautiful relationships with. So like they were there, and then a lot of new people that we had never met before. And during those moments, how I know is because you just get lost in it.
Yeah.
You don't even know what really is going on. You're just completely in the music. You're not worried about what, if anything happened before or if anything's going to happen after. You're just in every single moment. And that's how I know that stuff is a magical moment, is
Sure.
when I can't think of anything else except being in every single second.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could tell.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough about the show. I just had, that's when we first saw you live, and it was like, I think that, we can't wait for the world to experience that same energy, and they will.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So B, you have such a fascinating life story. So let's just like touch on it really quick. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, but you grew up in East Texas.
Yes, I did.
Right, and you grew up, listening to Kitty Wells and
Hank Sr.
and Hank Sr.
Oh, yes.
And all this stuff, and I love that. Like, so you would like go and sing to the cows, right?
Oh yeah. Oh no, they were like my best friends growing up. Them and my brother. That was my best friends. And my mother actually taught me how to play guitar, and so once I learned, then I would go out in the pasture and I would be with the cows, and that was my audience, and they would just listen as long as I wanted to play. And I just, growing up around animals like that, is really special to me.
And you started when you were like 13 playing guitar? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, but what I love about it is like the focus that you started having from early on. I mean, you started basically, like with the Piglies.
Yes.
You would like, you would sell them, and you would like save to get a better instrument. So from early on, music was like it for you.
Yes. Oh, it was. I knew at age 13, this is all I want to do with my life. That's it.
Do you have a moment that like?
Oh yeah, I remember the night it happened. Oh yeah, it was a really emotional night for me. I don't remember why I was contemplating at 13, like, what am I supposed to do with my life? What is this, But I was just in a moment of like meditation and prayer and like going I remember just being really internal and asking, you know, like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Like, I really love this, but is this what I'm supposed to do? And in that moment, it was just like, yes, this is it. And so from that point on, I've done nothing else, and I won't do anything else.
No, you found your purpose early on.
Yes.
Because some people go through life and they never find it.
I know, and I believe that everyone does have one, you know, and even if you know, something you start off with doesn't work out to begin with, maybe, you know, maybe that is just a stepping stone to lead you to where you need to be, or where you're, you know, supposed to be. And I believe that. I believe everyone has that within them, you know.
Absolutely. And that keeps you going, right? Because like, okay, you started getting better, you started, of course, improving, and you started opening up for like some great acts. I mean, you played at Jerry Jones' Suite in the Dallas Stadium. like you started getting some notoriety.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
But you always knew that like you wanted to leave Texas and come to Nashville, right?
Oh, yes, yes. Yeah. I knew that just because I knew in order to be within the industry, I had to go to where the industry was. There was no industry whatsoever in East Texas or anywhere around, you know. And so that was from a teenager. That was like, all right, that's what we're doing.
Incredible,
yeah,
like unbelievable. Like this, just focus so early on. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
And okay, but so you get a job at the Postal Service because you're saving to come to Nashville.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So tell me about that, because you know, there must have been some days where it must have been like hard.
Oh, incredibly. Now I will say that the people that I worked with at the post office, some of the nicest people I've ever been with in my life. Just incredibly kind. And I was the young one, you know, like they had so much seniority on me. And you know, when you come into a position like that, the young buck kind of gets all the non-easy jobs, because you're new, you know. But they were incredibly kind. But yeah, there was, you know, I was working probably 70 hours a week, and would go carry mail. And also, I didn't really have a truck all the time because I was new and young, so I had to walk these routes.
Oh wow! Okay.
And so I would, you know, and sometimes it would be in really menacing parts of the city where, you know, like a really green young woman was a bit scared at times, you know, in experiences like that. But I knew that I had to do this in order. This was going to be a really quick way in order to catapult me to where I wanted to be. Yeah. So even on those days where it was super hard, and you know, you just go to bed crying sometimes in that era. And but I knew that I had to do that. I had to save that money so that I could go and do and move and do what I really wanted to do.
You had a really strong why. Like it was like there was no stopping you.
No, not at all. No, that's something with me. Once I say I'm going to do something, you better watch out.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's
absolutely.
just my Texan, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What is your driving force today? Be like, what's your why? You know, like when there's days, not only in this industry, but yeah, let's talk about this industry. There's days that hit you sometimes a little bit, and you're like, man, why is this happening? Last year, the pandemic. What's your why? Like that keeps you moving?
I think my why is I want to be that artist that 300 years from now, you know, like when all of us are gone and like who knows what medium music is going to be on, but I want a 16-year-old to discover an album of mine and it changed their life. You know, to where they are encouraged enough and inspired enough to go then express in their own way, just how my heroes did
like
for
you
me.
Started,
yeah, absolutely. You know, like I make music for today and right now, but like my mind is also always thinking about, you know, years and years past this time in this plane. Yeah. You know, and going like I want to, as long as I can, I want to inspire people and go, you know, like if I can do this, you got it. Yeah. You know, this, you got it in the bag, because you know, art, I believe that art comes from pain, and even within happiness, you know, I still believe that like art really comes from even adversity as well.
Sure.
And I remember there was an actress that I really admired until I went to look at her biography, you know?
Yeah.
And she really never had to deal with anything in her life. There was no adversity. There was no struggle, really. She was really young when she started, and it was pretty much smooth sailing from them.
Right.
And I'm like, where's the struggle?
Yeah.
You know, where's the, because that's it doesn't seem like it at the time, but that's what will inspire others. You know?
Yeah.
And so I guess that's what keeps me driving, is knowing that there might possibly be people in the future that will be inspired by this, and this music will help them in their time of need. You know?
Absolutely.
So I guess that's what.
You know, it's funny you said there's a book called David and Goliath by Malcolm Gladwell, and he basically, every chapter is basically, the theme is the people that have changed the world come from adversity.
Yes.
Like, whether it's politics, Steve Jobs, you name it. It's like, that's the pattern.
Yes.
Their mom died early, something happened, and that was their driving force.
Yes.
So yeah, absolutely. Well, we love that. And we're glad that you're, you know, that you're thriving and that you've overcome everything. And then,
hey, it's a day by day.
Yeah,
it's a day by day process.
Day by day.
You know.
But I'll tell you what, the universe must be like, listen, we can throw something at B, but it's not gonna stop her. It'll be a bruise.
Oh yeah, you know. No, that's that's how I roll. And also, I've learned to, you know, just find, even in moments where it does seem like the lowest point, you know, if you find something in there that, like, even if it's just this instance of like, well, at least I learned something from that.
Yeah.
You know, at least I learned. Now I can take that. I don't have to learn that anymore. You know, I can take that now and move on. And that's what I try to not only do in my life, but encourage other people to do, because there's always something you can hang on to, I believe, that can pull you out of that well and let you fill it back up.
Absolutely.
You know?
Let me ask you about your creative process for a second, because I think it was Billy Joel recently that said that every time he sits in the piano and he's going to start like a new song or a new project, he looks at it and he's like afraid. He says it's like a shark with teeth, the way he sees the keys. Like when he's like in that void, when he's got nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I love about you that you're always reinventing yourself.
Yes.
You're never like, there's no 2 albums or EPs that are the same. So when you're like in that in between, right? And you're like gonna start a new project, are you like excited? Are you afraid? Both? Like,
I definitely think excitement, but I also, when it comes to making projects, there are times where I don't even know that these songs are going to be a part of a project until they're done, and I'm like, oh, this fits well together. Let's put this out, you know. But I don't. When it comes to creative process, there are no rules. There are no rules on how you create. You know,
beautiful, yeah.
And so I don't sit down to, you know, write like, okay, today I'm gonna write a rock song or a pop song or a blues song, or, you know, I don't ever sit down with any intention. It's just, you know, I get at the piano for 2 hours every day, and I just like let it melt my soul, and I have fun.
Beautiful.
You know, and then out of that usually comes, it'll just pop up, and I'll be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. You know, and then I'll make something in the kitchen, you know, like that. And that's kind of how that.
Oh man, wonderful. And the piano, I mean, when people hear you and they see you, they'll think you're gonna play it for your whole life.
Oh, but thank you. That means a lot to me.
But you played for like what, like a year and a half?
Yes.
Like what? So like that's unbelievable.
Thank you.
I have a couple questions about this because you're so good at it. First of all, why did it take so long? And second of all, like, why did it click so quickly, so fast?
I took piano lessons when I was small.
Okay.
Hated it. Oh my gosh. And I think a lot of the reason is because we were playing like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I'm like, can we not get down to like When the Saints Go Marching In or something?
Can we play Leave on Helm or something?
Yeah, we're just playing this like dinky stuff, and I like, that has no soul in it whatsoever, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think, so you know, and then I fell in love with guitar. I fell in love with Django Reinhardt. Oh, like,
so good.
You know, and Susan Tedeschi Trucks, that is my girl. I love her. But I fell in love with guitar first. And just really, and also really didn't have a piano around. And then when I moved above a studio, there was just a piano like in the space all the time.
Yeah.
And but that's when I found Dr. John
Dr.
out of
John.
New Orleans, and that changed my life. And then when I found Dr. John, I found Professor Longhair, and then I found James Booker, and all these New Orleans piano players. And I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to play like that.
Yeah.
And so I just sat down and started figuring it out, and I'd play a record and try to imitate it. And
More than piano players, they're like an energy, right? Like a flow.
Yes. Oh, and
It's like-
it's become at this moment one of my favorite instruments to express on, because it can lead you to places you didn't know you could go to.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
love
what
it.
I love about it.
I love it.
Yeah.
B, there's this beautiful mini movie online called Gas Station Takeover.
Yeah.
That you did, and you actually just released it recently in as audio only as well.
Yes.
So people can stream it.
Yes.
Love it, love it. It's so beautiful. I mean, it has like little glimpses of your life in between performances. It's wonderful, but it got me thinking. Like, that's the first time that I realized how important aesthetic is for you. Like, how good you are with aesthetic, because you could almost like watch it in mute and just like admire its beauty.
Thank you.
Because it looks so beautiful.
That means the world to me.
You know, so
Really
where
does.
did this come from? Because we've talked about audio and music in your life, but the visual, like, you have a knack for the visuals too, Brie.
Thank you. Oh, that means a lot to me, because I do. I actually enjoy visuals. And so growing up, my mom and dad, they owned a sign shop. So it was like graphic design, and, you know, and it was real mom and pop.
Yeah.
And so I grew up with my parents designing, you know, and watching how my mom would, you know, a business would come in and go like, I don't have a logo, I need a logo. And she'd, boom, she'd do it. And they'd be like, this is amazing, this is what I want, you know? And so I guess like just watching that and like watching her use the color palettes and what colors go with this and what, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I got into really investigating films, not just watching movies, but really investigating on how films were made, which is a fascinating like process to me. I think it's wonderful. Then I learned about things like framing or lighting, and how, you know, a single light can change the entire mood of a space, you know?
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, but to me, and so I just genuinely love and enjoy a visual aspect. And I also think that visuals and music just go so well together.
I know.
And they hold hands so well.
And it can also destroy it. Like, isn't it frustrating when someone has great music and they do some visual element video that just adds no value to it?
Yes, it is, you know, and I think I think when they hold hands together, they can equally break each other apart as well.
Yeah.
You know, like a visual can discombobulate a listener, you know. And so I think just knowing when the magic is there, because that's all I'm after. That's all I'm after is magic. I don't care if it's shaky video or grainy or not. All I'm after is that magic, because that is what I think outlasts anything, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so special. Yes. If we all lived our life like that every day to create magic, how beautiful is that? Like, I mean, I have chills.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, yes. I love that.
Thank you.
We should be like B. Taylor, you know, make life magic tour 2022, 2023. Wembley Stadium
Well, you
in 2024.
create your own reality.
Yeah. Oh
you know,
my God.
you really do. Each and every person can create your own reality, and it's all about how you tell the story.
Yeah. And speaking of stories, speaking of visuals, you've also been in a movie, Playback is a Bitch.
Yes.
And you know, it's this great film. Actually, a couple of our friends are on Lee Tasjan, Blankhorn Slim are in there. It's like this, but it's like a real, legit movie. You do such an amazing job. You act in it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It's really trippy, but really also deep and really great. How was your experience in movies?
It was really eye-opening, because I had never done anything in film previous to that. And so, you know, there was a crew and lighting people and sound people, and just a lot of parts that I didn't even know existed on a set. And so, you know, I would go to like pick up my plate after I'm done eating, and like an assistant would come up and like, no, you're acting, you don't do that. And I'm like, oh, sorry, I was just gonna throw this away, you know. And there's an order to things like that. So it was really eye-opening, and I learned a lot from that experience. And I also made a lot of great relationship with wonderful filmmakers. I mean, you know, Scott Sachs, the director, he is such a wonderful character in this life, you know. And so when him and Benjamin Stranger, who wrote the movie, when the two of them got together, just to see, especially the passion that comes in of moments of making a movie was really inspiring. And you know, I hadn't done any acting previous to that, so it was a bit nerve-wracking, to be quite honest. But I had a lot of fun. You know, it was a great.
And you're a natural.
Thanks. That means a lot, because I was definitely nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. Do you get nervous before performances?
I feel more like a boxer before musical performances, but like, yes, being in an acting situation where it was a totally new experience, it was lots of butterflies flying around, you know.
B, you're being so good with your time, thank you. But I have to ask you, okay, so last year we used to ask our guests, like, what did you learn from 2020, right? And that was like, it was a good question.
Yeah.
But lately I've been thinking, as a year, 2021, when we're taping this, is ending, like 2021 in some ways was almost like harder than 2020 in some ways. So let me ask you that question. How was 2021 for you?
I think 2021 was kind of like a mother hen to 2020 that was the egg. You know, and so 2021 is trying to come in and comfort and try to rebuild and try to, you know, grow all of the emotions that the world felt in 2020. And so for me, I think 21 is a complete learning experience, because when we did come back to play shows, I then saw people, the audience was different. Things were, all of a sudden, it was a new playing level. And what I mean by that is they had missed live music so much, and they didn't realize it, we didn't realize it, you know, because that's, you know, you just go. But then when you couldn't, I think it brought even more passion and more excitement from people. I think, you know, and so I think in a way 21 was like a mothering hen, you know, of going like, it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Like, look what we've been through, and you know, going through that, and that's kind of.
But it's just been like, growth is messy. Whether it's like a butterfly or like or a birth, it's messy.
But it's necessary.
But it's necessary.
It's necessary.
So it's been a little messy, but it's been a lot of growth.
Yes, and I have total hopes for the future. And also, you know, like I live life in the sense of like, bring it.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can survive.
Yeah.
You know, let's do it. Like, and you know, I'm not afraid of what is to come.
No.
You know, I think it's all about how you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, just it's like how you tell your story. You know, you can either be a victim or you can be a survivor. You know, and I would much rather be a survivor.
Wow, I love that. I mean, B. Taylor, you've said it all. I know next year is going to be huge for you. I know you're doing a little something in Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Yes.
And that has all the makings of like some real special stuff. But yeah, look, you know, your talent's amazing, all that stuff. But I think that just like we suspected and people told us, what you give to the world goes way beyond that. It is like a purpose. You inspired us today. I mean, everyone has a purpose, like you said, but few die with one.
Yes.
Like if people, that's a quote from B. Taylor, if people can just take that and every day that they wake up above ground, just look at your purpose and then you can add value.
Absolutely.
B, thank you so much.
Thank
what
you.
A soul. Appreciate you. So B, you and your amazing band are gonna perform for us?
Yes, we are.
Oh my God, what an honor. Thank you so much, B. Let's take it away.